Okay. All right. Recording's going. All right. Let me put it back on the chat. So, like I say, if you're communicating with the chat, I got to keep my chat open so I can see it. All right. Let's take a look at cybersecurity for the week. It's 5 after. All right. Now I'm behind. I didn't get the leadership assignment done because I was out the entire week last week. So I'm behind, but all we have this week is the resumes and cover letters assignment, and then we have the segment 2 exam, which is the semester final. So that will be varied. Say, I need an assignment for next week, and then that'll be for seniors on the 11th or 12th, whatever day that is, senior finals. And this is the actual for the final for the end of the semester. So I need to fill in a few more weeks after this for those of us who are not seniors. But let's take a look at the 6.03 and see what it has on here. Tell your story. Here's some good information. And again, this is not just cybersecurity. This is good for anything. You're going to be looking for a job. You're going to be looking for careers. This is good information. Employers typically spend about 7.4 seconds reviewing each resume they receive. Your resume's got to stand out. It's got to pop. There's got to be something that makes them spend longer looking at it. That's not a lot of time to share all these great things about yourself in 7 seconds. They want to know what's in it for them. They're looking for certain things that would be beneficial for their company. Highlighting your skills and experience and connecting them to each specific job opportunity can increase your chances to land an interview. So selecting the right resume style is the first step. So which resume do I need? Now, all resumes are not the same. There's several styles, including chronological, which means you put them in order of when they happened, functional, or a combination of those. Let's see. Chronological shows a resume that highlights work experience related to the position. Work history starts with the most recent and works backwards. Functional would be, scroll up, a resume that highlights skills and experience related to the position, less focus on job history, more on what I can do for this job, or a combination combines both. All right. So chronological resume, key highlights, it's the most common. Generally, people list the last job they had and just go backwards from there. Work history starts with the most recent, works backwards. You can show your progression over time. You say, look, here's the job I had left. Before that, I was a lower level job. Before that was a lower level job. I've been progressing over and over. Shows skills and abilities that relate to the position you're seeking. But it's not a good fit if you've changed jobs or careers frequently or have gaps, because it'll show those gaps rather clearly. And if you've changed jobs a lot, that's not good either. If I can look back and see, in the last 2 years, you've had 4 jobs. So you're only staying 6 months. So I don't think I want to hire you, because by the time I get you trained to do what I want to do, you're going to leave me. So I'm not going to spend all this time training you because you don't stay. That's a big problem. I know when I was in the hiring, and I've had several positions that I hired over my different careers that I had. I was in charge of hiring many times. If I looked and I saw you had a whole bunch of jobs in the last year or two, I just set your resume aside and went to the next one. Don't need someone that's going to leave me in a few months. So you need to show some longevity. Even if you got a job, he's like, man, this job sucks. Stick with it a while. If it doesn't get better, at least it shows that you can commit to something and stick with it till a better job comes along. Don't just leave it. Make sure you got a better job before you leave it. Functional resume, perfect for high school or college students with little or no work experience, because it highlights more of your skills and what you can bring to the job. Skills and abilities, not your work history. Your specific skills and abilities should appear towards the top. And Show the skills and abilities that relate to whatever job you're seeking. So you may need to customize your resume for every job you apply for. Oh, for this job, I need to show that I have these skills, but for that job, these are more important. You can move your work history towards the bottom so employers are drawn to it last, since you're young and don't have a whole lot of job experience. With the combination, it combines some parts of the chronological and the functional resumes. Gives an opportunity to showcase any job experience related to the position you're seeking, shows how your skills and abilities relate to the position you're seeking, and recommended if you're making a career change. So, okay. Tips and tricks for your resumes. How can you get your resume noticed? That's the big question. How can you get more than 7 seconds, right? A single mistake can prevent you from moving forward. 61% of recruiters will dismiss a resume because it contains errors. Yeah, if I saw spelling errors, I right away threw it away. I couldn't even get someone to spell check their resume. Hey, read this for me and see if there's any mistakes on it. If you can't get someone to at least do that, then I'm worried about what kind of work you're going to give me. 43% will disqualify because of spelling mistakes. So errors and other mistakes. You could have errors where you put the dates wrong. What, you started this job 6 months after you were fired? No, you had the dates wrong. See, you had the dates wrong. No attention to detail. So here's some tips to ensure your resume gets noticed. Use a font size between 12 and 14. And use a clear font like Arial, Times New Roman, Calibri. Don't use some of those Comic Sans or something just to be cutesy. They don't care. Formatting should be consistent. Headings should have the same format. Don't have a bunch of different heading types. Stay away from using shorthand and abbreviations. No TBHs. Honesty is the best policy when writing your resume. All right, if you didn't work for 9 months, be honest about that. But have a reason. Why didn't you work for 9 months? Maybe something was going on with your health. Maybe it was something going on in your life. Something, for some reason. Maybe there's a move in there, and you used to be moving in 5 months. And you didn't want to get a job and leave them. Check and check again for proper spelling, grammar, and punctuation. Do not include personal information like your weight, your marital status, your age, anything like that. Because they're not allowed to ask that legally on whether they can't consider that when hiring you. Well, I would hire you, but you're only 22. Well, they can't discriminate against that. Now, there may be a reason that, like, I can't hire you if you're 17 because this is a position that needs to serve alcohol. Now, that could be a legal reason. But unless there's a specific condition of the job that your age matters, they can't do that. Weight, marital status. Resume should be eye-catching and easy to read, but avoid little cutesy fonts, shapes, flashy colors. Make it very professional. And keep it simple. 1 page is best. If it's more than 1 page, it probably gets set aside. Don't fill it with a bunch of clutter. And choose quality paper if you need to print it. If it's not submitted electronically, I used to get some really nice, it was kind of a gray cardstock almost type resume paper I would use. You can get some really nice paper. Resume keywords. If you could increase your chances of winning, wouldn't you? So keywords can increase your chances that your resume be reviewed by a human or selected by a machine, because if it's selected electronically, they may use a machine to filter it. So they are words that identify specific contents. Some resumes never go through the hands of a human being because a machine will scan it and look for certain words. Do they have this skill? Do they have this skill? Do they have this skill? So applicant tracking systems are used to reject resumes that don't meet the keyword test. Oh, this doesn't say they know how to use Microsoft. Doesn't say they know how to use Microsoft Office. Something simple. Review some keywords that can help you beat the system. So you click on that link. See what we got here. Teamwork. If they're looking for teamwork, keywords are guided, helped, led, motivated, and supported. So you might have said, I was captain for my soccer team, but you should change that to, as team captain, I motivated and encouraged my soccer team members to our first state championship. See, that's a much better resume phrase than I was the captain for the soccer team. If it's a job doing a lot of research, conducted, collected, gathered, searched, solved. Leadership position, designed, developed, decided, organized, trained. Communication job, presented, resolved, wrote, spoke, debated. Good tips right there. Really good tips. Let's look at page 3. What skills do you have? So highlighting skills in your resume is another challenge for those with little to no job experience. You may have more skills than you think. So the top skills employers look for include communication, time management, critical thinking, problem solving, teamwork, empathy, technology, and self-motivation. Boy, that works for just about any job. Communication, I like how that's listed first, because very, very, very rarely are you working in a cave by yourself. And even then, you usually have to communicate with somebody on what's going on. In this section, we will explore skills developed from typical teenage jobs that can be transferred to almost any job. Let's look at some skills that, like a babysitter or a lawnmower or a dog walker or an online seller, could highlight on a resume. So what skills can I highlight as a babysitter? Responsibility, creativity, conflict resolution, especially if you watch more than one kid at a time, trustworthiness, big one right there, and leadership. This is ineffective. Don't do this. Watch 2 girls each night for a couple hours. Better to say this: cared for 3 and 4-year-old girls 5 nights a week for 2 hours. Much more effective phrasing. How about if you were mowing lawns? Communication, reliability, flexibility, attention to detail, time management. I scheduled time for school and cutting lawns each week. It's better to say created a schedule to manage school and cutting lawns for 5 customers each week. See, sounds much more professional. Makes you sound like you have a lot more skills and abilities than just schedule time for school, cutting lawns. How about if you just walk dogs? Critical thinking, focus, decision making, reliability, hard work. I made sure the dogs got food and water. I ensured that 4 dogs received food and water each day based on a schedule provided by the owner. Much more professional. What skills can I highlight as an online seller? Maybe you've done a bunch of eBaying or Etsy or something. Organization, written communication, research, business, electronic communication. I wrote description for items sold online. No. Say, wrote effective descriptions for at least 5 items posted online for sale each week. All right, page 4. Resume writing steps. What does it take to deliver a winning resume? Building your resume can be an overwhelming task. Recalling dates, skills, and jobs held can be challenging, but here's the steps you can take to help ease that process. Let's take a closer look at the process of gathering, assembling, and presenting a resume. Step 1, gather it. Time to gather the information you will need for the writing process. Download the pre-planning resume form. Oh, well, let's click on that and we'll see what that looks like. This will require you to put on your thinking cap. Doing a good job in gathering as much accurate information as possible will ease the resume writing process. Once you complete this form, you can just store it and use it later. So let's take a look at what it looks like. Personal information, what's the best address and phone number for you, and email address. Here's where you can keep a little summary you can use on your resume in 1 or 2 sentences. Let them know why you're applying for the job. Here's where you can keep a record of all your jobs. Company name, title, when you worked from and to, what duties you had on that job. Keep track of that. If you need to add more of those boxes, add more. Skills and abilities you have that relate to the position you're seeking. And if you need to add more lines there. And then any educations or certifications. So this is just a little cheat sheet you can always keep saved on your computer to pull out anytime you need to redo a resume. Step 2, assemble it. Now that you've gathered all the vital details for your resume, arrange it in the best format for you. This section will look at the basic parts of a functional resume, which is recommended for those that have little or no work experience, ideal for teens and first-time job seekers. Important, if you do not print your work to a PDF and save it before leaving this page, your work will be lost. So you can work on it right here on this page and then save it as a PDF. Your instructor cannot grade your work without a PDF you create. Ooh, so is this our assignment? Begin. Let's see. Resume builder. Start with your header, full name, and one way employers reach you. So fill out your name, first name, last name, email, phone number, city, state, zip code. Okay, page 2. Oh, it won't let me go to page 2 until I fill this out. Well, that filled in the school email. That's fine. Employer's name, title, location, dates, work, accomplishments. All right, great. So anyway, go through all 6 of those. And do you have to, it doesn't say how to, oh, text version. Oh, there's everything. There's everything right there. And then the last page has where you can print it. You can either print a chronological, functional, or combination. So after you fill out all 6 pages, it gives you a chance right there to hit print, and you can save it as a PDF. You can print it as a PDF, save as a PDF right there on the, you get to the end of that. Okay. Polish it. Throughout the course, we've emphasized the importance of editing your work. So let's look at the editing tips specific to resumes. It's recommended that resumes stick to 1 page, but they can be 2 as you gain additional experience and skills. Proofread, proofread, proofread. Spelling and punctuation make a difference. Ensure that formatting used throughout a resume is consistent. For example, if headings are bold and the font size is 14, all headings should be bold in the same font size of 14. Use quality paper to get a more professional look. All right, page 5. Business communication. Written messages are an important part of a successful career in cybersecurity or in any career, a lot of times. Writing for workplace communication follows a formal set of rules that business professionals are expected to know. In the workplace, written communication is widely used to convey a variety of messages between companies, within a business, and between individuals. There's countless reasons a business letter may be written. So it's a written form of communication between business organizations, within businesses, and between individuals. Here's some examples. Cover letter. Cover letters are written in a professional business letter to accompany resumes. Your cover letter should allow you to introduce yourself to the employer and invite the reader to review your resume. It should include what job you're applying for, your qualifications, and a request for an interview. Career networking letters are sent to personal contacts you've established over the years. When you enter the job market, corresponding with individuals you've developed a professional relationship with can be a big part of your job search. They may be able to help with possible interviews and contacts. Most business letters use the block style. That's a format that the entire letter is left aligned. Paragraphs are not indented. It's neat, it's simple, it's easy to format. Like in a resume, the most common fonts used in formal letters are Times New Roman and Arial, 10 or 12 point. Don't use like Comic Sans. It's considered unprofessional. All words should be spelled out and not abbreviated. Do not abbreviate your resume. Word processing programs offer templates that make letter formatting easier, but it's good to know the correct format for a business letter. So this is a block letter like you do for a business. You have the return address and date at the top. So the sender's address, like that's your address. So if you're using letterhead, you may have official letterhead that already has an address, then you don't need that. Write out the full date. Don't abbreviate. Then underneath that would be the inside address. This is that the person's being sent to, right? Then whatever you begin it with, your salutation, the greeting begins with dear, followed by the person's name, or to whom it may concern if you don't know specifically. Then the body of your letter. The first paragraph be the reason, the main idea, and then conclusion, and the request for action, follow up. In your complimentary close, usually sincerely or yours truly, and then the signature. After the complimentary close, strike the enter key 4 times, and then your name. There's 4 spaces between sincerely and Chris Taylor there. And then you actually, after you print it, you actually get a pen and sign your name. That's what those 4 spaces are for, to give you space to actually sign your name before you send it. All right. So the assignment is in the lesson. It says, here we go. Back at the end of the lesson, page 7. Follow directions on the resume and cover letters project. Had to click on it, see what it was. Choose your job. Read the description for each job and choose one you'd like to apply for. Keep in mind the skills, education, experience you have. You're a cybersecurity intern, computer technician apprentice, or locate your own job. Find one online. Fill out the pre-planning form, do a functional resume, review and feedback, write a cover letter. In the cover letter, be sure to have concise, well-written, accurate, simple block style information. And here's what you should submit: your professional-looking functional resume with a cover letter. Now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to make this optional. If you want to do it, I'll make it extra points. If you don't want to do it, we'll skip it. A lot of work there, but I'll make it optional for you. So you may or may not have time to this. I don't know where you're at with your other classes, but I'll leave it open there. But anyway, there's a lot of good information, even if you don't want to do this cybersecurity resume on there. A lot of really good information on there, because you are going to be trying to get a full-time career out there in some area. There's a lot of really, really good stuff in this lesson here. So, all right, guys, I will let you go. Have a great week. It is an A-Day Friday this week. Don't have much left, especially for seniors this week and next week. I'll figure out what we're going to do the next couple of weeks, because all that's left is our final exam for the semester in Buzz. So I'll get us some stuff for next week. So, see you later.